What are the responsibilities of a construction manager? The responsibilities of a construction manager are times cost estimates, times pre-purchase of selected materials, times selection of bidders for bidding phase, times analysis of proposals, times construction contract negotiations, times construction scheduling and monitoring, times cost control of construction, times construction supervision. 2. List out the potential risk factors for workers on the construction site. Potential risk factors for worker on the construction site. Times falls from heights. Times scaffold and trench collapse. Times electric shock and arc blast. Times repetitive motion injuries. Times not using personal protective equipment correctly. 3. What is OSHA compliance? OSHA stands for Occupational Safety and Health Act. Its motive is to fulfill the health and safety requirement of employees and workers. It is a standard for health and safety that is followed by every industrial segment and corporate offices throughout USA. 4. Mention what are the composition of a landfill. For secure landfill, there are 4 critical elements. Times the bottom liner. Times a leachate collection system. Times a cover. Times natural hydrogeologic settings. 5. For the construction project, what capital cost has to be taken in consideration? Times land acquisition, assembly, holding and improvement. Times planning and feasibility studies. Times construction, material, equipment and labor. Times construction financing, bank loan. Times insurance and taxes during construction. Times owner's general office overhead. Times inspection and testing. Times equipment and furnishing not included in the construction. Times field supervision, architectural and engineering design. 6. List out some of the software used in the construction sector to estimate cost and monitoring expenses. Times Tally System. Times Sage. Times Maxwell System. Times Premier Construction Software. Times Takeoff. Times Construction Partner, etc. 7. What is reinforced concrete? Reinforced concrete have steels bars or mesh in them, which gives extra strength to the construction. 8. What are the different types of foundation? 3 main types of foundation are times basement. In this, a basement is prepared first. On top of it, building is constructed. Times crawl space. A crawl space is a raised foundation. It is built above the ground, just allowing enough space to crawl underneath. Times slab. In this foundation, concrete is directly poured into the pit made in the ground. 9. Explain what is hybrid foundation. Hybrid foundation is usually used for high-rise building. It contains both soil-supported mat and piles. This type of foundation is helpful in reducing the amount of the settlement. 10. What are the common ways of demolition? Times hydrodemolition. Times pressure bursting. Times dismantling. 11. Explain what is floating slab foundation. A floating concrete foundation is a type of mat foundation that consists of the hollow mat formed by a grid of thick reinforced concrete walls between two thick reinforced concrete slabs. 12. Explain what is flashing. Flashing is an extended construction that is done to seal and protects joints in a building from water penetration. Flashing is installed at the intersecting roofs, walls and parapets. 13. Mention different types of roof systems. Times slate or stone roofs. Times wood shingle roofs. Times metal roofing systems. 14. Explain what are the phases inspections are done by local authority while construction. Various inspections during the construction includes times site inspection, times pre-construction or first construction inspection, times foundation inspection before placing of concrete, times framing inspection before insulating or covering frame, times insulation inspection after insulation is completed, times final inspection after all construction is completed and permits are received. 15. List out some of the checkings done at the completion of construction. Some of the checking done on the exterior of the construction is times utility connections, times drainage, times retaining walls, times compaction of fill material, times caulking at opening, times storm sewer system, times safety provision, terraces, porches, areaways, times accessory buildings, times pavement edging, times protection against moisture penetration, times design of dwelling structure. 16. Explain what is alternate bid. Alternate bid is the amount stated in the bid to be deducted or added from the base bid amount. Alternate bid is proposed when there is a use of alternate materials or methods of construction. 17. Explain what is change order request. Change order request is a written document issued or given by the owner requesting an adjustment to the contract sum or an extension of the contract time. Usually, it is issued by the architect or owner's representative. 18. What does a construction cost covers and what does not? A construction cost covers material, labor, equipment and services, contractors' overhead and profit and other direct construction costs. While it does not cover compensation paid to the architect, consultant or engineers, cost of the land and other costs. 19. Explain what is critical path method, C.P.M. Critical path method is strategy and method of representing the respective tasks and activities involved in the construction through a symbolic diagram. 20. What is demising walls? Demising wall is used for the boundary that separates your land or house from neighbor's house. 21. What is labor and material payment bond? It is a bond between the owner and the main contractor, where a contractor guarantees for payment to the owner if he fails to pay for all labor, materials, equipments or services in accordance with the contract. 22. Explain what is progress payment. It is a payment done by owner to the contractor. It is a difference between the completed work and material stored and a predetermined. 23. Explain what is structural frames or systems. Structural frames are a load-bearing assembly of beams and columns on a foundation. Normally, the columns and beams are generally fabricated off-site and assembled on-site. 24. Explain what is zoning permit. Zoning permit is a document issued by governing urban authority permitting land to be used for a particular purpose. 25. Explain what is the release of lien. Release of lien is a written document executed by an individual or firm supplying labor, material or professional service on a project, which release his mechanic's lien against the project property. 26. What is architect prepared contract? Architect prepared contract is an agreement prepared in-house by the architect between owner and architect, and often it is a legal contract, and it includes all terms and conditions including adequate legal protection for both the parties. 27. Explain what is 1/8 on the architect ruler denotes. 1/8 on the ruler is in fact a scale that converts 1/8 inch onto the drawing to 1 foot. It would represent a drawing with a scale of 1/8 is equal to 1 foot. 28. List out some of the software program that can be useful for architect. Times AutoCAD. Times Revit. Times 3ds Max. Times SketchUp. Times Photoshop. Times Adobe Creative Suites. Times Microsoft Office. Times Digital Media. 29. Explain what are the skills required to become an architect. Times Conceptual understanding of designing models. Times Basic knowledge of computer and architect-related software programs. Times Engineering ability. Times Business aptitude. Times Legal knowledge. Times Designing 3D models. 30. What things architect have to take care of before starting any project? Times whether the owner has proper planning permission. Times whether the building has a certain listed grade approved. Times knowledge of building appliances and materials that includes the cost as well. Times need to take environmental factors into consideration. 31. Explain how you can use different dimension tools in CAD. What are the different dimensions available? If you are using CAD and want to use dimension tools, then go to CAD Dimensions and you can have access to a wide range of dimensions like times manual dimensions, times interior dimensions, times auto exterior dimensions, times auto interior dimensions, times end-to-end dimensions, times point-to-point dimensions, times angular dimensions, times display temporary dimensions, times moving objects using dimensions. 32. Explain how you can turn off the display for dimension in CAD. The display of your dimensions can be turned off in CAD. For that you have to go under Floor Plan View and follow the following steps. Times in Floor Plan Active, select Tools Display Options. Times scroll down to the Dimensions, Automatic, and Dimensions, Manual Layers and remove the check marks from the Disp column. Times when you click OK, the display of the dimensions in your plan will be turned off. 33. Which are the top apps for you civil engineer? Some of the best apps. Times Evernote. Times Steel. Times Dropbox. Times Instagram. Times Sketchbook. Times Photoshop Express. Times Flipboard. Times Magic Plan. Times Who's. Times AutoCAD W's. 34. What are wooden shingles? Wooden shingles are rectangular in shapes, and they are like slats or sheets that are nailed. Shingling is a traditional weatherproofing method for building. 35. List out some of the common problems that architects have to tackle it. Times when client is not sure about what they want. Times when there is a limited budget. Times when customer requires custom design at standard design cost. Times when architect has to work with limited space. 36. How to build the floor-to-ceiling bookcase? To build a floor-to-ceiling bookcase. Times first measure the distance between the floor and ceiling. times cut to boards of the length of that distance, times cut to boards with the width you require, times attach top and bottom boards to the side with 2-inch nails. Keep a gap about 1 or 2 inches between each nail. Times attach top and bottom boards to the side boards with 2-inch nail. This will create a frame of your bookcase. Add the shelves to the bookcase the way you want and then paint it. 37. What should be the standard roof height like to be? For inhabited building, standard height for roof should be 1 or 2 stories tall. If you don't need to make roof taller and yet you won't make it look bigger from outside, use the roof of the room can be adjusted by changing its pitch or by adding a parapet. 38. List out the types of roofs. Times half-hipped roof, times Dutch gable roof, times skillion roof, times gambrel roof, times gull-winged roof, times mansard roof, times bell-cast roof, times sawtooth roof, times monitor roof, etc. 38. Explain what are the problems one might face while having a cantilever balcony. Cantilever balcony are usually unsupported and extend outwards, so the problem with cantilever balconies are times excess deflection or bounce, times weakness of the deck structure, times rot and water damage to the interior of the house, times unevenness inside the house, times can't use the balcony for gardening or other purposes as it is not designed to lift excess amount of weight. 39. For what building built-on balconies are preferable? What are the advantages? Built-on balconies are mainly designed for retrofitting older buildings. This freestanding balcony is supported in front of the facade on 4 columns. They are backed to the wall with brackets. The advantage of built-on balconies are times old balconies can be dismantled and the new ones can be erected immediately in front of the facade without disturbing the inner structure of the building. Times the work takes place outside of the house, so there is no interference to the interior of the building. 40. What things you need to take care of before building a kitchen island? Before you start building a kitchen island, you need to take care of times design the kitchen island according to the need. If it is only for cooking purpose, then use less space, but if it is also for eating, then design it accordingly. Times list out what appliances you need for your kitchen island. Times how high the counter should be. Times how much storage space should you require. Times working sides surrounding the kitchen island should have 42 inches of space as a minimum around the kitchen island. Don't plan kitchen island if it makes your kitchen more congested. 41. Explain what is the difference between built area and super built-up area. Times built-up area, it includes your carpet area plus area covered by walls, pillars and ducts. It is usually 10% more from the carpet area. Times super built-up area, it includes your built-up area plus the area that you use as building amenities like passage to lift, stairs and lifts, gym, club, etc. 42. What is the ideal size of the living room? Ranges from small to large size. Times very small size living room is equal to 7 by 10 feet, for 2-seater sofas on one side of the room. Times small living room is equal to 10 by 13 feet, for 2-seater sofa. Times medium living room is equal to 12 times 18, for 3-seater sofa. Times large living room is equal to 15 times 20, for 4-seater or 5-seater sofa.